shadow of mountains, under the same sky. From ancient Persia to the land of the eagle and snake. Mexico, you stood tall when the storm came. This is our heart, from Iran to El Tree.
Tehran streets quiet, but hearts beat loud. News hit us hard in the middle of the crowd. America closed doors, visas denied in the night. But south of the border, Mexico turned on the light. Tijuana welcomed our boys with open arms wide. Claudia Sheinbaum, you stood with pride. Fans in the stands chanting Iran is our brother. Mexican flags waving, lifting us higher than no other. No politics here, just pure human soul. Football, the language that makes us whole. From the desert heat to the Pacific shore, you gave our team Melly a place to restore. Little kids trading scarves, green and white with red. Tears in their eyes, not a word left unsaid. Mexico, mi hermano, you show the world grace. In a time of division, you chose to embrace. Iran to Mexico, brothers forever we stand. Hearts united across the ocean and land. You hosted our dreams when the world turned cold. Now we cheer for El Tree with fire in our soul. Good luck tomorrow under the World Cup lights. This Korea you fight with all of your might. From the people of Iran, with love deep and true. Vamos Mexico, we believe in. Remember the journey, the long flight across seas. Uncertainty hanging like clouds over trees. But in Mexico's arms we found peace in a home. Hospitality warmer than any you've known. Raul Jimenez scoring, Edson holding the line. Iranian fans screaming, this victory's mine. We share the same fire, the passion, the pain, cost of living high. But football eases the strain from grandmas in Tannerun to families in Guadalajara. We're one in the game, no border can mar. You open your stadiums, your cities, your hearts. Gave hope to our players before the next start. Now it's your turn, El Tree, shine like the sun. Against every challenge, the battle is won. We see your resilience, you never give up fight. Just like our team Melly under the spotlight. When leaders divide, the people unite. Mexico, your kindness is our guiding light. In every Lego brick we build this story true. A friendship forged stronger than steel, me and you. For the mothers praying, the fathers who cheer, the children dreaming of a world without fear. Tears fall like rain on these plastic fields green, but joy rises higher in this beautiful scene. Thank you for seeing us, not as foes but as kin in the World Cup of Nations. True love always wins. Iran to Mexico, brothers forever we stand. Hearts unite across the ocean and land. You hosted our dreams when the world turned cold. Now we cheer for El Tree with fire in our soul. Good luck tomorrow under the World Cup lights. These Korea you fight with all of your might. From the people of Iran, with love deep and true. Vamos Mexico, we believe and we win. Tomorrow at kickoff, around the same hour, our souls travel with you. We give you our power, score for the unity, for the fans far and near. Let the goals rain down, let the whole world hear. From Cyrus the Great to the Aztec pride, ancient warriors marching side by side. No war can break what the beautiful game ties. And Lego dreams, we build bridges to the sky. So lift up your jerseys, let the anthems ring. Iran stands with Mexico, let freedom sing. Win or lose, your champions in our eyes. Brothers eternal under these bright lights. From Iran with endless love to Mexico. Good luck, El Tree. The world is watching you glow. Peace through football. Friendship never ends. Vamos, hermanos. Amen.
que es un criminal sionista, lo digo abiertamente, él apoyó a Trump y es íntimo de Netanyahu. Entonces, cuando llegó Netanyahu a Dallas, Texas, que había un grupo de judíos o israelíes, no sé cómo se diga ya eso, le decían, oye, ¿por qué persigues tanto a los palestinos? Y les dice, los palestinos son para nosotros los israelíes lo que los mexicanos son para ustedes en Estados Unidos. Entonces yo veo la palestinización de los mexicanos en Estados Unidos.
Con todos los componentes.
¿Cómo?
Con todos los componentes, porque primero Estados Unidos le roba el territorio a México, después le termina de construir un muro, después los ataques xenófobos y racistas por un componente étnico y religioso también. ¿Qué falta?
Bueno, falta el último capítulo. Vamos a empezar a ver, hay que tenerlo en el escenario, una gran discriminación sobre los mexicanos. Eso a mí me queda muy claro. Y Estados Unidos, porque aquí la pureza blanca del WASP, del racismo, supremacismo, es igual que la pureza inventada de los nuevos judíos del siglo XXI, que ni son semitas. Lo digo con responsabilidad. Hoy uno llega a Tel Aviv y el 25% habla ruso. Son de origen házaro. Los házaros, lo digo también con definiciones puntuales, son mongoles centroasiáticos. No son semitas. En Estados Unidos, que es un criminal.
All right, fam. So I can't sleep. So I'm gonna to take you guys through a series of videos that I hope you guys can understand. These are old recorded videos from like years ago. I hope they all make sense. Okay. I'm just gonna take you through that. I may not say shit. I'm just gonna, try to figure out a way to sleep. I deal with insomnia a lot. All right. In case you guys don't know that, I hardly ever sleep. I probably need like 5 hours of sleep every time, and that's it. So if I sleep like throughout the day, I can't sleep all night, And I catch myself trying to sleep at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's kind of weird. Anyways, let's continue with this dilemma.
Madre arroja al mundo. No está rozada, no está tocada. Está entera y verdadera. Nadie puede hablar de ella. Y ahí dentro yo creo que a la mujer le ha quedado bastante claro. Y a su suegro también. Así que es lo que hay. La que quiera hombre que se la gane. Todavía se puede
She's saying this young lady was a virgin.
And the opportunities for
like that young lady was a virgin, and she's never been with a man. So that's the way that their tradition keeps it, just like the scriptures. Those are gitanos. Let's go.
Acabar el dinero.
What do Puerto Rico and Hawaii have in common? This is the part of history I wasn't taught in school. They were both taken over by force. In Hawaii, the queen was overthrown. Puerto Rico went from being a colony of Spain to becoming a colony of the US. And why did the US want both? Well, their location was very valuable for the military, and the land was very valuable for US sugar companies. Today, they're both still very valuable because of their natural beauty and the opportunities for profit that represents. They have both seen an influx of wealthy newcomers moving in, while the native population experiences high rates of poverty. Famous figures like Logan Paul in Puerto Rico and Mark Zuckerberg in Hawaii have acquired land, while some locals say they're having a hard time finding places to live they can afford. One big difference is that the native Hawaiian population in Hawaii is now a minority, while in Puerto Rico that's not the case. Some say Hawaii is a shining example of what Puerto Rico could be if it became a state. Others say it's a cautionary tale. I'm working on a longer story comparing the two, and here's how you can help. What do Puerto Rico and Hawaii
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God.
Keep in mind that I'm showing some videos, okay? Hold on a second. Let me see what we got. Let me see. We're going to do this.
Acabar el dinero.
Okay, here we go.
What do Puerto Rico and Hawaii have in common?
Hold on. I recorded this a long time ago, but I don't want to share that shit. Let's play this.
It's not talking about the color of the Jews. Does the Bible say the Jews are dark-skinned people? Absolutely. But Jeremiah 14:2 is not a scripture that you can utilize to prove that, because it's not what it's talking about. Here's what use that verse to prove certain things, but its initial context.
Versículo 8. Judá. Judá es la tribu de Judá, del afroamericano, del que hoy vimos nosotros donde tenían la lucha de los derechos civiles.
This guy right here, he believes he came out of the nutsack of a negro. That's what he's saying.
Dice que
Judá,
Judá,
te alabarán tus hermanos.
te alabarán tus hermanos. ¿Cuáles hermanos? Las 12 tribus de Israel. Te alabarán a ti, Judá. Las 12 tribus de Israel. Las demás tribus van a alabar a Judá, de donde desciende Cristo. ¿Qué más dice?
Tu mano.
Understand, he says you are going to worship Judah where Jesus descended from. So what do these morenos want you to do? Worship them, even though that shit is a fake story, right? Okay, let's continue.
En la cerviz de tus enemigos.
La mano está diciendo en el cuello de tus enemigos. Aquí en América del Caucásico. ¿Cómo está eso? Si tienes algún video de
So,
los
like, listen,
estudios,
he says in America, el Caucaso. Bro, you look like a Caucasian dude.
¿cómo está eso? Cuello de tus enemigos. Aquí en América del Caucásico.
See, el Caucaso. Wouldn't you say he's Caucasoid? All right, let's get into some real more deep depth knowledge.
Manifest destiny. The belief that white people were destined by God to take over the entire American continent from sea to shining sea. What's interesting about that is during the 1840s, the United States went to war with Mexico, which ended in U.S. victory and the occupation of Mexico City. But the U.S. decided not to keep all that land and wealth. Why would they do that? Well, you had senators at the time saying stuff like, "We have never dreamt of incorporating into our union any but the Caucasian race, the free white race. To incorporate Mexico would be the very first instance of the kind of incorporating an Indian race. For more than half of the Mexicans are Indians and the other is composed of chiefly mixed tribes. I protest against such a union as that. Ours, sir, is the government of a white race." The U.S. essentially only wanted to take over parts of the continent with very low population or no population, so that they could then replace that population with white people. Because racism was more important to them than imperialism.
Future. That's one of your top
It is.
3 pieces.
Show me your friends and I show you your future. You want to know why you're all fucked up? Just look at the fucking bums you hang around with. Show
Infierno. Van a ir al cielo las siguientes personas según la Biblia: homosexuales, lesbianas, trans, adúlteros, fornicadores, los que viven en unión libre, los casados civilmente, los divorciados que viven en unión libre, los que tienen hijos fuera de matrimonio, los que no reconocen hijos, los que se han acostado con la mujer de su prójimo, los que no guardan un día para el Señor, los borrachos, los que visitan prostitutas, los que adoran imágenes, los que participan en juegos de azar, irse a la playa a vacaciones en Semana Santa, los que calumnian al prójimo, los rencorosos, los que cobran venganza, los que utilizan métodos anticonceptivos, los que tienen sexo antes del matrimonio, los que tienen sexo por placer sin fines reproductivos. En otras palabras, nos vemos todos en el infierno.
Isn't that what Christianity says? That's what he's basically saying, bro. You see, all of the sins, he says, I'll see you in heaven.
Van a ir al cielo las siguientes personas según la Biblia: homosexuales, lesbianas, trans, adúlteros, fornicadores, los que viven en unión libre, los casados civilmente, los divorciados que viven en unión libre, los que tienen hijos fuera de matrimonio, los que no reconocen hijos, los que se han acostado con la mujer de su prójimo, los que no guardan un día para el Señor, los borrachos, los que visitan prostitutas, los que adoran imágenes, los que participan en juegos de azar, irse a la playa a vacaciones en Semana Santa, los que calumnian al prójimo, los rencorosos.
We're talking about, man. Let's go back, man. This is so powerful. Listen.
Cielo, las siguientes personas
These are the people that supposedly, based on the New Testament, are going to go to heaven.
según la Biblia. Homosexuales,
Homosexuals are going to go to heaven.
lesbianas,
Lesbians,
trans,
trans,
adúlteros,
adulterous,
fornicadores, los
fornicators,
que viven en unión libre,
meaning
los
the ones that
casados
are not
civilmente,
married and yet they live like in a, like a communal household.
fornicadores, los que viven en unión libre, los casados civiles,
The ones that are married civilly, well, apparently you would have to go to married to the church, but you know that's a little extreme. That's religious shit. But let's continue with the other stuff.
los divorciados que viven en unión libre,
The
los
ones
que
that are
tienen hijos
divorced and
fuera
live
de
in a union
matrimonio,
independently,
los que no
live like for example, if you're divorced and just fuck around and do your shit.
fuera de matrimonio, los que no reconocen hijos,
The ones that don't recognize their kids,
los que se han acostado con la mujer de su
the ones that slept with their brethren or their, if you're a sister and you slept with your sister's husband,
prójimo, los que no guardan un día para el Señor,
the ones that don't even hold a day for the Lord,
los borrachos,
the drunk,
los que visitan prostitutas,
the ones that go prostitute, the ones that visit prostitutes to make sure they get their,
los que adoran imágenes,
the ones that love the imagery, whether it's a cross or a stone or black, white, or Virgin Mary or Death Mary, whatever the fuck that is.
los que participan en juegos de azar,
Do you know what that is? Do you guys know what that is? That shit is dangerous right there, what he said.
participan en juegos de azar,
The azar? That's a witchcraft cult shit. Let's continue.
irse a la playa, vacaciones en Semana Santa,
Those that go to vacation on the weekend, supposedly to like have a relaxation, but nah, you're gonna go do your shit.
los que calumnian al prójimo, los rencorosos,
The angry, like resentful motherfuckers.
los que cobran venganza,
The ones that are vengeful, bro. Like they just don't let it go, they just want to get one at you. You know what I mean? Like I have disagreements with people, but I don't come after you. Like I don't do that shit. Like, bro, it's okay, man. You know what I mean? Like do your thing. I'm not gonna bother you, bro. You have a life, you have a family,
que utilizan métodos anticonceptivos,
¿Sí?
los que tienen sexo antes del matrimonio, los que tienen sexo por placer sin fines reproductivos. En otras palabras, nos vemos todos en el...
Basically, he's saying, shit, if that's the case, then we all will see each other in heaven. Isn't that the case?
Oiga, gente, qué extraño. No veo el rencor, no veo el enojo, no veo el dinero, no veo la fama, no veo un estatus social, ni marcas de ropa, no veo un físico bonito, ni las horas de gimnasio. ¿Saben algo? Yo creo que nos equivocamos muchas veces en la vida y estamos trabajando en nuestro cuerpo, en nuestras finanzas. Estamos trabajando en vivir una apariencia y al final de todo, todos llegamos a esto. No es algo bonito, pero es la realidad. Y cosas como el rencor, el odio, cosas como la falta de perdón, cosas como la desesperación, la tristeza, pensamos que se van a ir ahí a la tumba y no es así. Porque la palabra de Dios dice que para nosotros nos es dado morir una vez y luego el juicio. Y hay gente que no entiende eso y no le toma importancia. Job decía, desnudo nací del vientre de mi madre y desnudo volveré a Dios. ¿Sabe? Y él tenía toda la razón. Nosotros no vamos a dar cuentas ni vamos a encontrar las cosas que vivimos aquí, porque la palabra de Dios dice que cuando morimos vamos a Dios, volvemos a Dios, nuestro espíritu y nuestra alma, y va a volver ahí para ser juzgado.
Takes their land. There they are right there. They take their land. White man comes in the United States.
Sure what that was.
A white man comes in the United States and claims he wants to build churches, right? Runs into Native Americans, rapes the women in the name of the Lord, gives them diseases, takes over the United States, and then runs into Mexicans. Takes their land. There they are right there. They take their land, and then they put a border, a nice little border right here. And then a Mexican enters the United States, and we don't call them pilgrims. We call them wetbacks. We call them illegals. We call them undocumented people.
Or you came over on it. Go back where you came from. I was told this more than once growing up as a kid, but as a kid, I really didn't understand racism at the time. So when I was told this, being born and raised in the United States, I thought they meant for us to get out of the West Side and go back to the East Side. Anyway, if you're one of those that was pressed by the video I posted, you might want to kick rocks because you're really going to hate this one. Even your history books teach you that the Mexica, or Aztecs if you will, were later rivals to the Valley of Mexico, which at the time of arrival was called Anahuac. Our oral history teaches us that we came from the land of Aztlán, the land of herons to the north. Now, how far north? To get an indication of this, we can look at a few things, but I'll stick with two. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed in 1848. This treaty not only ended the Mexican-American War, but established the boundaries for both countries. In this treaty, there's a map called the Desternal Map. There's different versions of this map, the 1847 and the 1848, but even this map was a reproduction of earlier maps. Now, on this map, in the southwest region of what we now call the United States, it reads Concepción, Antigua Residencia de los Aztecas. Concepción, ancient residence or homeland of the Aztecs. This is an official treaty, official documents that now reside in the Library of Congress in the United States. In furtherance of this, you have the Ute, Paiute, Gabrielino, Tongva, Shoshone, among other nations. These indigenous nations in the southwest part of the United States are related to all Euro-Aztecan and Nahua-speaking peoples, including my own, by way of the Mexican blood that still runs through my veins. Now, when you look at a Mexican and think, he doesn't belong here, remember, we don't come to this land. We are of this land. And here I thought I was of the people, of the blood. Turns out I'm a figment of my own imagination. You know those people that are born and raised here in the United States that you refer to as Mexican, or that even self-identify as Mexican-American? You know that in the strict sense of the word, they are not in fact Mexican. To understand this, you have to understand that Mexican is not an ethnicity, but a nationality. And if you are not a Mexican national or a naturalized citizen of Mexico, then you are not in fact Mexican. Mexico, or more correctly, Estados Unidos Mexicanos, is made up of 68 indigenous peoples speaking 63 indigenous languages. Now, most of those born here in the United States that we refer to as Mexicans can't even tell you what tribe or tribal nation they come from, because our people were not only colonized, but detribalized. The ones you call Mexicans are in fact of mixed indigenous blood. Now, as for the Aztec Empire, I'm sure you know that the Aztec Empire was a triple alliance, right? And that the most influential group within that alliance was the MESHIACHA, or those of the Nahua bloodline, those of the Nahua nation. Now the Nahua, or the descendants of the Mexica or MESHIACHA, are the largest indigenous group living in Mexico today. And their ancestral language, Nahuatl, is the #1 indigenous language most spoken throughout Mexico to this day. We are still here. Nilsi, Notocatonahhuac, Canecuac, in Cuecuetnoqui, Nemexicac. No, neither the Spaniards nor the diseases eradicated or wiped us out. Your history books did.
White is erasure when you call us white or European. When the Europeans arrived on these lands, they committed mass genocide, the largest mass genocide of a people in world history. 90% of indigenous people all over this Western hemisphere were exterminated. This extermination was so large that it actually caused climate change. And when they couldn't kill us all off, they tried to breed us out of existence. And the vast majority of that mixing was not consensual, if you get what I'm saying. And after they forced so many people to have their children, they started committing paper genocide. And on all of their official documents, they documented us as Indios, not our tribes. And then when we had their children, they reclassified them as mestizo. And then they started reclassifying us as white. They reclassified us so many times that it made it impossible for the vast majority of us in the Southwest United States and Mexico that we cannot even find our original tribes. They even changed our native names to Spanish names. So when we look for our ancestors, they all have Spanish names. They not only erased us physically, they erased us legally. This European blood that runs in my veins and the vast majority of my people's veins was not by choice. It was by force. So while you guys sit here and think that it's funny to call us white or European based off of how you think we look, all you're doing is causing more trauma to my people. You're digging that knife in further and twisting it. I am not European. And I am not white. I am Mexican indigenous. So respect it and stop erasing my people for your entertainment.
And I always noticed that this friend of mine, he looked just like me. Dark skin, brown.
I'll give this monkey bastard a moment. Just for today. Just today.
Features, full lips, los ojos jaladitos así, And I walked in his house, man, and his mother walked up to me, came up and said something, but it wasn't in Spanish. And I looked at him, and for a moment I thought, he's not Mexican? I had no idea what she said. And I looked at him and I said, what'd she say? Oh, she wants to know if you want some bread. Oh, tell her I'm okay though. They communicate with each other. And she says again, offer me the bread. And I looked at him. What did she say? She says, you have to take it. Okay, took it. And she wouldn't leave until I took a bite. She was just there in my face staring at me. And she smiled, said something, moved along. And I looked at him and I said, hey, I thought you were Mexican, not Asian. And then he said, I'm Guatemalan. Now, me being very ignorant, I said, wait, ain't that Mexican? And he says, no, that's in Guatemala. That's not in Mexico? What state is that in Mexico?
He said, him being ignorant. He called a Guatemalan a Mexican. Now he goes around acting like he's teaching people. Kid, shut up.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You guys don't speak Spanish? He said, yeah, but we also speak Maya. And I said, oh, okay. I walked outside and I thought, these are not my people. These are something else. I'm sitting outside waiting for him to come out, thinking, damn, this whole time I thought he was my people, but I guess he's something else. But now, as I think back, I'm like, he was my people. He just is more in tune with our originality. There's a systemic effort to make sure that we don't know where we come from.
That want to say that supposedly black people were here that you support 100% of the time. Fucking hypocrite. But I'll let you speak, kid.
I'm working at a restaurant, 18 years old. I'm a server, and there's a table with 4 Native American men. I walk over there to offer them a drink. One of those guys said this to me. Hey, brother, what tribe are you from? I said, oh, I'm Mexican. And then he looked at me, and he looked at his friends, and then he looked back at me. He said, it's the same thing, brother. I'm like, okay. And I walked off, and I thought, I think this guy thinks I'm Native American. I thought that to myself. And I was like, it's okay, let him think that. some years later, when I'm doing my research and I do a DNA test just like you did, and I see the results of 82% Native American, it hurt my heart, man, because I thought he was a fool for thinking I'm Native American just like him. I'm thinking, I'm not Native, I'm Mexican, bro. And now I realize I'm only Mexican because the Mexican government made the efforts to ethnically wipe us out and force us to identify as Mexican. Force us.
It took this piece of shit bastard a fucking DNA test to figure out who he was. So you mean your spirit never talked to you? Like the spirit within you never compelled you to dig deep within yourself? No, until you took a DNA test, the white man compelled you to, you know, and then you said, hey, the white man confirmed it. You see what I mean, fam? That's why I let some of these voices talk, because they chop themselves up and we get to see prime examples of how weak people that we've been listening to for a long time really are.
Us to no longer speak our native languages, but instead force us to speak Spanish. That's why we're Mexican. And it makes me sad because most of my life, I proudly claim to be Mexican, thinking that Mexican is a race. But no, Mexican is just a nationality. And to find out that I've been proud to claim something that was forced onto me in order to erase my native ethnic root, or at least sense of identity.
Understand the history of MESHIACHA at all. You see what I mean? Let's continue.
Ooh, it burns because not only did the Spaniards arrive here and obviously did their best to erase us.
See, this is what you guys are, this is why I don't like you motherfucking weak ass bastards. The Spaniards showed up. The Spaniards weren't just white. Are you going to call them out and say Negros came with the Spaniards too and enslaved our people? Are you going to say that? See, you're not going to say that. Because you're like a chupon, bro. You're weak. You're a chupon. You see what I mean? Like, yeah, it sounds nice and all. It took you DNA to figure it the fuck out. You mean like your spirit didn't compel you to fucking try to find this shit? And then now we know what the hell you're saying. You're pro-Negro, man. And then you want to say you're pro, like, you know, indigenous? Please.
But after we survived the onslaught, okay, we couldn't get rid of these people. They're still here. It's okay, though. We don't need to wipe them out literally anymore. We could just force them.
Wait, which ones? The white ones or the black ones? Because they both came together and worked together and destroyed our people. They destroyed people like you and him. They raped women that you had or he had. Both white and black people did that. Jews, Arabs, they all did that. Moors, all of them did that. But see, you don't say nothing about that. It's just a white man. That's why I don't fucking trust you motherfuckers, bro. Y'all are weak-ass Mexicans.
To stop identifying as Native Americans. We're going to stop. We're going to prevent them from identifying by tribe and prevent them from speaking their native languages. Now, you guys have to be forced to identify as Mexican and only speak Spanish. So, they actually erased us because now you and I are here talking about we Mexican, which it's not our fault. That's all we known. But the fact that that's all we known is where the problem really comes into play.
See, and that's the problem with this fucking idiot. He thinks that Mexican, the way that the society has interpreted it, in his face, with the simple mind, is that when you say Mexican, that you're saying U.S. citizen. Like he thinks like Mexican is U.S. citizen. No, we understand there's mexicas. And then there's like fucking infiltrators. We understand that shit, bro. You understand that shit. Let's continue.
It's like, damn, we can't even blame our parents or our grandparents because it's not us directly who this was done to. It was our grandparents who this was done to. And the problem started there a couple generations back. Now, thinking back to that Native American man who said, hey, brother, what tribe are you? I'm not Native, I'm Mexican. Same thing, brother. I walked off thinking he's a fool. But he knew something I didn't know. Now, with that said, we were meant to know so little about who we are that one day I was hanging out with some Mexicans and a Chinese guy whose English was not that great, but he could still speak it enough. He was communicating with us Mexican guys. He was attempting to ask us if we were Native American. And the way he did, he said, "Hey, amigos, you..." He did that, and he did this, like the arrow, shooting arrow thing. He says, "You." They laughed, and they said, "Tell him we ain't that. Tell him we Mexican." I tell the Chinese guy. They said, "No, they're Mexican." And he says, "Mexico." Oh, what he was trying to say, bro, you Mexicans are Native Americans. The sad part is that this Chinese guy knew who we were, but we did not.
Neither do you. You defend the negros. The same negros that came with the white man. They enslaved our people. No, you don't even call them out. You say they're your friends. Because I prefer morenas. That's what you fucking said, kid. That's what you said. This is why I'm showing these videos, family, because, you know what I mean? I just want you guys to go back in my timeline. These are videos from like 2023. Let's continue.
I am a red man. If the Great Spirit had desired me to be a white man, he would have made me so in the first place. God made me an Indian.
The First Nations people have been given a message, have awakened to righteousness.
A new thing is coming. A new wave is coming. Upon suffering beyond suffering, the red nation shall rise again, and it shall be a blessing for a sick world.
In the midst of diversity, there will be...
I am a red man. If the Great Spirit had desired me to be a white man, he would have made me so in the first place. God made me an Indian.
The First Nations people have been given...
What he said, listen to this again.
I am a red man. If the Great Spirit had desired me to be a white man, he would have made
me that shit. I'm MESHIACHA. If the Spirit would have made me a white man or a black man or an Asian man, that's what I would have fucking been. But I am a MESHIACHA from this fucking land. I am from this continent. You can't take that shit from me whatsoever.
Made me so in the first place. God made me an Indian.
The First Nations people have been given a message, have awakened to righteousness.
A new thing is coming. A new wave is coming. Upon suffering beyond suffering, the red nation shall rise again, and it shall be a blessing for a sick world.
In the midst of diversity, there will be unity. In the midst of suffering, there will be healing. There will be restoration.
You, as Indians, are a sleeping giant. You are now awakening. You may become a spiritual superpower in this country that could change not only America, but the world.
The sleeping giant is no longer asleep. It is moving. It is moving. And I challenge every tribe, rise.
We're going to lead because we're ordained to lead this last great awakening.
Get ready.
Hebrew people, the Jewish people, were put on reservations. And today, the American Indians are still on reservations. And I believe what we've seen in the book of Exodus is going to take place right before our eyes here in America.
I believe that the Native American people are the key to a tremendous move of God, a revival that's getting ready to sweep the earth.
It is Kairos time for us, and I'm seizing that moment. I'm seizing this time.
We feel a sense of urgency to partner with kingdom shakers up on the reservation, with people who are not willing to settle with what history said, but are willing to really pursue what destiny says.
So God is going to use us, and there is going to be a change, and it's going to start from us.
God is getting ready to do something very powerful in America. God's getting ready to move a powerful, powerful move like we have never, ever seen before. Never.
And we need the input from the Native Americans. They have the spiritual authority to break the darkness of witchcraft, the control over America.
It's an awakening. It's all about God.
God has connected them with China, Korea, and Israel for a move of God unlike any other.
For God has spoken, I have now turned my face to the host people of the land, for blood cries from the ground. Now is our time, people. Now is our time.
Get ready.
Their community like a wildfire. You know, in Ethiopia, in the 90s, we learned that the Native American Indian, they are Mongoloid by race. So if you are Mongoloid by race, it means Asia is your origin. However, it does not change the fact that these people that you are looking at now were in the Americas before your sold and stolen West African ass. Can I get an amen in here today? Okay, so when you hit them with that fact, they start saying, you know, the entire world was black. Okay, I can stomach that, but let's switch to the different page. Okay, yes, I agree to a certain degree that there was a point in time in this world that everyone was dark. You see, but that shit does not make everyone a black American, you silly POSs. It does not make everyone black American. So you're telling me that the Aboriginals of Australia are black Americans too? You see? So if the first people in the Americas were black and Aboriginal, they were of this group. They were like these people here. You see? You see, there are people in Australia, the Aboriginals, that look just like the natives I just showed you. You see, with a culture similar to theirs, you see. I even saw this documentary about Hawaii, you know, before it was taken. They had people look just like these people here, you see. And these people are not black Americans, you see. They have blonde hair even. These people can even develop blue eyes. I have seen it. You black Americans can't do that. To prove my point, black Americans are so West African that when you know, they meet someone who has features like this in their community, they glorify them. You know why they glorify them? Because these type of features are not common amongst them. That's why black Americans love light skin. That's why they love good hair, because that is not common amongst them. You see, I have to give you this work because, like I said, nobody will give you this work if I don't. You see, so stop trying to claim everybody's culture and history. You are not these Aboriginal people, whether they are of the Americas or the Southeast Asia. You are not them. Everyone is their own people. You see, your black American kids don't look like this. Their hair doesn't look like this unless they mix with someone. You see, that's why you love mixing with people so much, so that you can get rid of what you hate when you see in the mirror. Oh yes, give me an amen. I need an amen today. I know I'm telling the truth. You know I am telling the truth. You see, these are not black Americans. Look at them. Look at that hair texture. You see, that's why when a black American has, you know, get this type of hair texture, they are glorified because that shit is not theirs. And they know it. Freaking OG bringing you that hidden truth. Because LeBron James and Jesse Jackson will not give it to you like this, you see. Mr. Spook Lee will never make movies about this, and I wonder why. So I'm here learning about the Buffalo Soldiers, Geronimo, and the Wounded Knee Massacre. And I must say, the more I learn about these Black Americans and their history, the more I understand why things are happening the way they are now in the USA. Just look at the type of things these people were doing to the Native Americans, all the while crying about, the Black Wall Street Massacre, the Rosewood Massacre, boo-hoo-hoo, But look at the nonsense they were doing to the Native Americans. They will not tell you that these Black Americans massacred over 200 innocent men, women, and children for absolutely no reason. And they are here proud afterwards. To make matters even worse, these Black Americans have the nerve to claim to be the Native Americans in year 2023. What these Black Americans did to the natives is equivalent to going up to a person that you see choking, and then you sneak up behind them and you proceed to strangle them. You see, that is pure evil right there. And there's no way you can get out of this. You cannot play the...
How come a brother from East Africa can see it clearly and you stupid Mexicans can't? I'm Mexican too. So I'm not just trying to be hateful. I'm trying to wake y'all up. See, a brother from East Africa sees that shit. And you guys don't notice it. We've been sharing, and I say we because I'm not the only one that's been sharing this shit. Now, I could say I've been sharing this shit since 2022. I've been specific about my teachings. Now, there's some people that say, well, you know what, bro, I don't have no prophecy, even though I fucking actually call some shit out, but, I guess whatever. I must not be a priest. I'll say it right now. I ain't worshiping no fucking dude, bro. No man whatsoever. You're out of your mind. You're just Christmas Christians, basically, is what you're doing. Let's continue, because I'm going to defend my people. That's what I'm here for. Fuck your bullshit. I am not here to fucking say, oh, my gente, you guys got to worship me because I bring the truth, and you know what I mean? What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? What is wrong with y'all, man? You criticize these Christians, but yet you glorify a fucking individual. You're no different than him. Okay, let's continue.
Blame the white man card on this at all. You see? All I know is I will say this and I will end this vid, because if I keep talking, these Black Americans are going to report, because they cannot handle the funk.
Actually got rid of him on TikTok, bro. It was fucking nuts. This was like 3 years ago.
But I know that if it was us Ethiopians that these Black Americans did this to, and then have the nerve to try to claim your identity. A lot of these Black Americans, they live in homes.
Hispanic. They looked a little bit more like Hispanic. So here's an important question. And it is certainly important, once again, if you judge by my YouTube comments box, because everybody seems to want to argue what color Jews were originally. Let's try and figure out that question. What does the historical data suggest? We have no clear-cut answer from biblical texts or archaeological texts, but we do have some scientific data, and we do have some very suggestive data from both biblical texts and archaeological data. Let's start with biblical passages.
Call the DNA that I had shared with y'all. It showed that my forefathers were from here, this region right here. Let's continue.
Just for example, according to the book of Genesis, the roots of the Jewish people are in southern Iraq, very close to Kuwait. Abraham and his wife Sarah originate from the city of Ur, and that puts us down, right in the Persian Gulf region like that. Later on, several other family members who may already have come from Ur are married in from the region of Padan Aram, which
That's where Isaac and Jacob, Abraham made sure to do that, right? He talked to Eleazar as well to like guide his kid. So you understand that this is where the migration of Abraham's, Isaac, and Jacob lineage came from. Now, in this case, it's a little bit more curvature here, but quite frankly, I'm not too far from that. These are my gente.
Would be in Syria. Now, even if one does not want to take the biblical passages at face value, one has to recognize that when they were circulating in antiquity, if they were way out of whack with people's sensibility, people would say, hey, wait a second, how can it say we come from Ur because we physically look so different than all those Ur people? And we don't have evidence of any of that objection. Secondly, if we assume, and it's not necessarily an assumption we have to make, but if we assume that the people who live there today basically
Do what he's going to say, and I'm going to share something with you.
Look like the people who lived there in antiquity, then we should be able to get a sense of what did Abraham and Sarah actually look like. So this is what typical Iraqis look like today. And you can see that they tend to have a little bit darker complexion. They tend to lean towards darker hair color, although the child on the right seems to have a little bit lighter hair color. I think they could easily pass for Hispanic in New York City. I think they could easily pass for Hispanic in New York City. Hispanic. I think they could easily pass for Hispanic in New York City. But basically, they look Middle Eastern, as we would typically think of Middle Easterners.
So he says, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, right? That's what he says, right? That's what he says. Let me share this with you. It's not showing off, man. Like I'm telling you, family. My family didn't come here alone. Okay? Right? It says I'm predominantly from here, but then how do you get to 92% indigenous? And then all of a sudden it says that your parents are from there. How does that make sense? In the same region that he's talking about, the video we just watched. He had encircled that region right there. And yet it says here that my forefathers are from here. Not too far from the curvature. But see, here's the thing. We didn't come alone here. I'm sure for a fact my family didn't come here alone. So that must mean something. Right?
And if we look at Syrians, we have the same kind of more or less family of complexion, eye color, hair color. And this is probably based on a reasonable assumption that people back then sort of look like the people today who come from the same place, that this is probably what Abraham and Sarah look like. Now, there are other peoples living there, of course, and Israel in particular is at a crossroads between Africa and Asia and Europe. So there are lots of possible mixings. Let's get to that. But let's look also at some artwork that we have from history as well. Here is a really interesting tomb painting. Like a lot of the wealthier classes in Egypt would decorate their tombs with all kinds of amazing artwork. And because of the way in which it was preserved in the dark, we still have them. And they can be reconstructed with some clearer colors, as you see in the bottom image here. This is from 1900 before the Common Era, which would be although we don't have a really clear date of when Abraham would have made his way down to the land of Egypt, but it's definitely in this neighborhood. And here you see the Amu, who are Western Asiatics, led by a Hyksos figure, which some scholars even identify with Hebrews, and they are coming into Egypt led by some Egyptian figures. The Egyptian figures on the right, the two of them, you can see seem to be somewhat darker in skin tone, but the Hyksos and the Amu, Western Asiatics, which would come from the land of Canaan, the land of Israel today, they seem to look pretty similar to what we saw of the Syrians and the Iraqi today. Here we have finally a picture where we can say these are definitely Jews. This is a part of the Lachish reliefs that were commissioned by the Assyrian attacker of Israel, who displaced many of the Jews out of the land of Israel to Assyria. This is in the period of time which is associated with the 10 lost tribes. They looked a little bit more like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a famous Hispanic. They looked a little bit more like Hispanic individual in popular culture. They looked probably a little bit more like Middle Eastern people.
I hope you guys understand what that means. Now we're going to get into the opposite, and then we're going to finish it. You see, I started noticing this shit back in 2023. I think Brother All Will Be Revealed was watching a lot of these videos, and we recorded some of these things, and this guy started erasing a lot of this shit because these people started bugging out. Watch. Oh, no, that's not it. Hold on.
Louis Farrakhan, who is another high-level Freemason who runs the Nation of Islam for the Archbishop of Chicago.
Guy started putting out a lot of good information, and then he apparently he got attacked by his own gente. They took his channel down. I got to record a lot of his stuff.
Who is another high-level Freemason who runs the Nation of Islam for the Archbishop of Chicago.
A lot of people could say the black community, as well as, specifically the Nation of Islam, they blame white supremacy when we know that those are truly issues.
So we have all these high-level Masonic leaders, black and white, of all these various different religions, working together for agitation among the peoples of this country, but never ever exposing the papacy as the true heart and soul and its real master.
The same people that created the Federal Reserve Bank, the same people that created the League of Nations, that eventually became the United Nations, the same people that created the Council on Foreign Relations, are the same people that created the NAACP and the Urban League, the Boule. These people are deceivers. A lot of preachers, I hate to say it, the devil have preachers.
If Allah is the God of heaven and earth, like you said, then you have to accept Him.
Amen.
And Him only.
That's it.
That's absolute.
The problem.
Supposedly. Here, let's listen to one more example.
A Yasharel, al que busca estar directo con Dios. Esa es la respuesta. Más preguntas. Dime, Mónica. Ya voy a mí. Todo el mundo tendrá derecho. Dime.
Gracias. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
¿Qué relación existe entre el Mashiach y México?
¿Y México? Pues, para empezar, el nombre de México no es México. El nombre de México era Mexica. Y Mexica no es otra cosa que Mesías. Así que hay una energía mesiánica en México. Fíjate, por eso cada vez que voy ahí yo tengo una vibración especial. Los mexicanos sois extraordinarios.
With that same spirit, that same sort of trying to draw you in, to trip you up, to make you angry, to make you denounce that you even believe in Christ and the Bible. that same spirit, that same arrogance, that same and after seeing TCA's behavior and this other person that I've had conversations about concerning the Bible, I have to now say there's some kind of spirit roaming in the UK that's taken up residence inside our brothers, because I remember when he had riled me up so much, like I have long stopped cursing. And let me tell you, I was just cussing like no one's business. And then, of course, he was then turning it around on me. And so what you experienced this evening, I've experienced the same thing with someone else. And I swear it is a spirit. And someone in the chat said, this is a spirit of something. I took a screenshot, but I need to go and research it, because this is now the second time that I am seeing this attitude. And because time is so short, I really believe that this is a distraction sent from the devil.
All right, so we're going to get final comments. We're going to start with Sister Betty.
To me, was as brown as I am. But who caused the problems in the camp? Usually the mixed multitude. Because they're not even Israel. And I'll land my plane there.
All right, so we're going to get final comments.
He's not moving in love and kindness. He's just not. And I'm second guessing what I'm saying now, but I'm gonna say it again. Those guys grew up in the UK somewhere. They really, really don't understand what we're talking about. That's why the second brother came on. He's still asking the same kind of TCA questions, moving in the same TCA type of manner. They didn't grow up here, so they did not even hear what I said. We grew up under different times than they did in the UK. They don't understand how you can get into a thing and really not know what the thing is that you're getting into until you get to be older and learn these things, because we all throw up the piece.
Did you hear what she just fucking said? She said that it ain't our fault if we got involved in something that we didn't know what that thing was about being involved in. That's what you just said right now. You're going to find out exactly what this is leading to. No more jokes. No more lies. No more bullshit. Y'all fucking knew what you did.
Sign, the okay sign. When my son hit threes in his game, he hold up the 3 fingers and all that. You think my boy was thinking about, he's doing a Masonic sign all over the gymnasiums, all over the country? No, he didn't. He just bragging about he made a 3. See, this stuff in that TCA and the other brother, they don't understand all of American culture. He feels like he can go and they feel like they can go and do a little top service research. Okay, we all know what the Divine Nine is. We all know that there's fraternities all over the country.
A second. Raza has been here in this continent, has been here in this country, and we did not know that. Did you know that? Whoever's watching, I think there's like 5 of you. Did you guys know that? I didn't know that black folks had access to Freemasonry fucking privileges. I did not know that. I mean, why don't we talk about it? I'd like to find out how much privilege you had behind that, because you're letting that Negro from Europe know, well, you didn't really understand what we were going through. You know, we didn't know just because we threw the fucking 6, sign 3, whatever P. We were just going to college and doing our, black thing in college. I guess that, I don't know what the fuck that means, right? But not okay. Let's continue. I'm telling you, man, it's just hypocritical, 100%.
And out of the country that have brothers to pledge. My first husband, he pledged Sigma Phi Beta. Yes, he did. But is he a Freemason? Did he stay in that? No, he did not.
But was she? Dude, she like gave him up. She like gave him up, dude. Like, look, look.
And out of the country that have brothers to pledge. My first husband, he pledged Sigma Phi Beta. Yes, he did. But is he a Freemason? Did he stay in that?
So she says, "Is he a Freemason?" Pause. Did he stay in that? Total different pause, right? So basically saying, is he a Freemason? You know, private thoughts. Yeah. Did he stay in that? No, he quit. I'm gonna tell you what I love about being raza. It's because we just don't lie. You know, at least my kind of fucking people. Hey, look, listen. You know, I'm not made out of gold, bro. I'm not gonna be like above everybody. I will say this: I will never sound like this guy.
I'm not arrogant. I'm on a power trip. I'm in a total commitment against evil. I'm pouring out my guts, my soul, my family, everything I've got committed to this, and I will not have pieces of fucking shit lie about me and say I'm not true. I will fucking destroy you, scum, all of you.
Yeah, you'll never hear me go that fucking. You'll never go me. I will never sound that bug nutty. All right, so let's continue. Hold on.
No, he did not. It was a thing to do.
Oh, no, wait. Hold on. Let me go back. No. I think we need to go back. I'm going to go back because I did pause it. But I want you guys to pay attention, okay? We've been going through several videos, and I think at this point we need to understand exactly what these people are saying. Pay attention, okay? She said she married some dude that was like Greco talk, and then somehow about, you know, Freemasonry, and then somehow that he quit. Okay? Listen to this shit.
So we're going to get final comments. We're going to start with Sister Betty.
To me was as brown as I am. But who caused the problems in the camp? Usually the mixed multitude. Because they're not even Israel. And I'll land my plane there.
All right, so we're going to get final comments.
He's not moving in love and kindness. He's just not. And I'm second guessing what I'm saying now, but I'm gonna say it again. Those guys grew up in the UK somewhere. They really, really don't understand what we're talking about. That's why the second brother came on. He's still asking the same kind of TCA questions, moving in the same TCA type of manner. They didn't grow up here, so they did not even hear what I said. We grew up under different times than they did in the UK. They don't understand how you can get into a thing and really not know what the thing is that you're getting into until you get to be older and learn these things. Because we all throw up the peace sign, the okay sign. When my son hit threes in his game, he hold up the three fingers and all that. You think my boy was thinking about, oh, he's doing a Masonic sign all over the gymnasiums, all over the country? No, he didn't. He just bragging about he made a three. See, this stuff in that TCA and the other brother, they don't understand all of American culture. He feels like he can go and they feel like they can go and do a little top service research. Okay, we all know what the Divine Nine is. We all know that there's fraternities all over the country and out of the country that have brothers to pledge. My first husband, he pledged Sigma Phi Beta. Yes, he did. But is he a Freemason?
Hey, if you are a detective and you just ask a simple question, you just let this bitch talk. Let her talk. Trust me, she's giving it all up. Seriously, it's not that difficult. She's admitting it. I told you. I fucking told y'all, man. don't lie in this channel, bro. I'm not here to hate on people, man. I just want fucking facts. And if you motherfuckers didn't suffer, bro, stop lying. If you enslaved our people, admit it, which you guys did. So I'm not looking. Basically, that's a rhetorical question. Let's continue.
Did he stay in that? No, he did not. It was a thing to do, either to get girls or to get into the drinking club. It was not us pledging our allegiance to Satan. They don't understand that. So you're just going to run off what you don't understand without any real serious proof. Brother Tayu kept asking him, what else do you have besides a few clips of Eshan? He could not answer.
You see, that was what kind of crazy when she's like, we ain't worshiping Satan. Nobody said that.
My first husband, he pledged Sigma Phi Beta. Yes, he did. But is he a Freemason? Did he stay in that? No, he did not. It was a thing to do, either to get girls or to get into the drinking club. It was not us pledging our allegiance to Satan. They don't understand that. So you're just going to run off what you don't understand without any real serious proof. Brother Tayu kept asking him, what else do you have besides a few clips of Eshan? He could not answer.
You guys can make that decision on your own.
Anyway, I mean, I understand you want to point out that there's a ingrained problem that might be a viral problem in the world, right? Anyway, I mean, I understand you want the world, right, which is called Freemasonry, and it is a way that a lot of these people rise to power. We agree with you.
Okay, so as you can see, I mean, look, I don't know, but I mean, what do you think, bro? Like, I'm trying to like think about wrapping my mind on it. It's like, wait, your stance towards them is a little like not as aggressive as your stance towards Christianity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. That's what the brother's saying right there. He's saying, hey, man, if I was saying this about vocab or anybody else, you'd be like, oh, yeah. But since you're talking about one of these Israelite bros or, you know, all of a sudden you oppose. You know, bro, that's what he's saying. It's like, why is Nathaniel not saying that he used to be a cop? You know, just say that, bro. Why you hiding that? You tell your story all the time, but you always keep that, like, you know what I mean, omit it. You always exclude that. You know what I mean, bro? Why? If you know.
And this is the thing as well, bro. I know you guys know this already. I did a video on Yahweh, Ben Yahweh. He's throwing up the exact same signs, bro. Well, back in that generation, people weren't as hip to the information. He's blatantly saying what he is, blatantly. But the people at the time didn't know, and he's throwing up the same. And you have to realize, you know, we've all admitted that many pastors and bishops who are ordained ceremonially, they're part of Freemasonry. Yeah?
So excuse me, y'all, but did y'all say I'm not coming through clear? Anyway, I mean,
because you said at the beginning of this whole conversation that
centric scholars. Message to you black Afrocentric scholars and fans and wannabes and all you people in the conscious community who claim to study black history or history. This is a repeated thing that's going on right now. I remember a time several years ago where a lot of people in the conscious community was claiming to be the Native Americans. And in the process of claiming to be Native Americans, they were disrespecting real Native Americans. They were calling them fake-ass $5 Indians. They was telling them, you ain't no Native American, you an implant. Just think if somebody done that to you. I mean, just think about it. And white folk, and anybody touch your culture, your history, or you guys got upset. Okay, so you guys are doing the same thing. You guys just reversed it. Y'all was caught, you guys was insulting so many Latino, Mexican, and Native American, disrespecting their culture, trying to claim their culture, trying to steal their culture. And at one point, I'm going to tell you how it all went down. how many years ago was this? 3.5 years ago. Somebody asked me a question one time and said, hey, what do you think about Africans coming to America before Columbus? I said, you know what? I think maybe a ship or two may have got lost and people landed there and stuff like that. And then culture was born there. But it's just not a small amount of the population. Maybe, there's some groups of Africans in America. Latino guy came on the thread, tagged another black person who was conscious and up on it before me and said, such and such, is that true? And he said, nope. And this was a black guy I respected. At one time, I called him one of the smartest brothers on my page. So I had to wait. Then they started breaking some shit down. Then I changed. I wasn't claiming that the Native Americans black. I just said maybe a very small percentage got there on accident in their culture, but I never bought into it and was claiming the Olmecs. Okay, so after time goes by, I start friending a lot of these Latinos. A lot of them were, like the Olmecs, you would call that Mesoamerican history. A lot of them were Mesoamerican scholars, knew their culture, their ancestors' history. And after a while, I thought about it. I said, God damn, they was kicking so much real shit. I said, how in the fuck am I listening to some confused black American tell me about Mesoamerican history? That's like, why would I go to what we call these master teachers, or these people in the black American community, to learn about the Shanghai dynasty? I mean, like, what are we doing here? If I want to know about the Shanghai dynasty, maybe I should go to the people who actually study the Shanghai dynasty history. Maybe if I want to learn about Chinese culture, maybe I should learn from a Chinese scholar. You know what I'm saying? See, I kick in and change quicker than other people, right? So I had developed a whole bunch of these people who are Latino and study Native American history, their ancestors' history. So one of my at this time, he was a good Afrocentric friend of mine. He come on my post bashing their ass, calling them all kind of shit. Disrespectful. I fell asleep. And this thread went on for hours. But this Afrocentric was insulting the Native American guy first. I mean, going hard at him, calling him fake, just saying, you this and that, you racist bastard, we're going at him. So the Native American scholar, no, it was a brother. But anyway, one of the brothers got mad at it and finally snapped back and talked about my Afrocentric friend's wife. I wasn't there, I was asleep. I wake up in the morning, 1,000 damn comments. So the Afrocentric dude get mad at me because it's on my post the argument went down and the guy insulted his wife. I said, wait a minute, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I didn't insult your wife. I wasn't even around. Me and the guy never been friends since. But it was a case of he was berating the Native American people, guys, and the Latinos, just bashing them. And when they snap back, all of a sudden now you guys are crying foul.
How many times do they do that here? How many times do they do that here in this channel? That's why y'all motherfuckers don't show up here. You know, you get fucking fired.
They had, in my opinion, if some foreigners are talking about Samoans' culture, a Samoan has every fucking right to defend his history and his culture and his ancestors, by all means. Just like I have every right to defend some African culture, Ghanaian culture. So it's the same thing that has come around now with the Egyptians. I got some friends who are Egyptian now and Berber, like Amazigh people, like for real, and live there and understand the information great. They understand.
So let me show this to you, and then we're about to be finished. This is part of Black history that they don't know about. and share with you the forefathers of North America, how they practice Freemasonry. I can show you that. But I'm going to show you this today.
To provide an education to adults of color. He petitioned the state legislature to grant to all citizens of color the right to own real property and to vote in all elections. He also served as a special deputy to the English Grand Lodge and was armed with the charge to travel throughout the colonies to determine the number of subordinate Caucasian lodges still operating as such in the New World. The question of extending Masonry arose when Absalom Jones of Philadelphia appeared in Boston in 1791. He was an ordained Episcopal priest and a Freemason who was interested in establishing a Masonic lodge in Philadelphia. Black men from Providence, Rhode Island also traveled to Boston to inquire about Masonry. At a subsequent assembly in 1791, the African Grand Lodge was formed by delegations from Philadelphia, Providence, and New York. Prince Hall served as its first Grand Master and remained in this capacity until his death. African Lodge in Philadelphia and Hiram Lodge in Providence came under the aegis of this Grand Lodge in 1797. Prince Hall died December 4th, 1807. A broken column monument marks his gravesite in Copp's Hill Cemetery in Boston. At a General Assembly of the Craft in 1808, the name African Grand Lodge was changed to Prince Hall Grand Lodge, free and accepted Masons of Massachusetts. The Deputy Grand Master, Brother Nero Prince, became Prince Hall's successor as Grand Master, followed by George Middleton, then Peter Lew, and then the well-known John T. Hilton, who recommended a Declaration of Independence from the English Grand Lodge in 1827 and the assumption of powers and prerogatives as an independent Grand Lodge. During this most significant period of Masonic growth, Masonry spread throughout the colonies. Many lodges and Grand Lodges were formed under...
You hear what he said? Masonic growth. Did you Mexicans get any access to this privilege? I thought these people were enslaved the whole time. I thought the white man was the one making all the decisions and shit. Around 17 and change.
Middleton, then Peter Lew, and then the well-known John T. Hilton, who recommended a Declaration of Independence from the English Grand Lodge in 1827 and the assumption of powers and prerogatives as an independent Grand Lodge. During this most significant period of Masonic growth, Masonry spread throughout the colonies. Many lodges and Grand Lodges were formed under the authority of the Prince Hall Grand Lodge. Today, there are over 1 million Prince Hall Freemasons in approximately 50,000 lodges in 44 jurisdictions throughout the United States. It takes 3 or more lodges to form a Grand Lodge. Hannibal Lodge number 1 of San Francisco, Philomathian Lodge number 2 of Sacramento, and Victoria Lodge number 3 of San Francisco are the 3 lodges that formed the Grand Lodge, free, ancient, and accepted Masons, organized in San Francisco, California, on Tuesday, June 18, 1855. Hence, the 9th Grand Lodge was formed. The fraternity now holds the distinguished title of Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge, free and accepted Masons of the state of California, Incorporated. Since its colonial birth, the organization has attracted to its ranks professional men in business, government, religion, and community service, civic-minded men of good will and character who continue to provide the needed services for the betterment of mankind, thereby leaving a legacy by which Prince Hall Freemasons are best known. To be one, ask one.
Yeah, that's just the beginning of the examples.
See, but the brethren who were a part of the syndicate. I already knew a backlash was coming because everyone in that religious sphere is a part of the syndicate. So I knew it was going to happen. You're so predictable. Most I said, sit back and watch how they come for you. I said, I'm ready. Most I gave me the encouragement to pursue. And people should just be genuine and say, yo, they're part of the thing and talk out like that pastor guy did, even though, you know.
Admit this brother right here, he exposed a lot of their internal shit. I will give him that. He exposed a lot of it. We had no access to that. I mean, and honestly, I think some of us did, but he came at it with within their little organization. They taught him that shit. Like he learned about that because they taught him that shit. You understand this? This is Freemasonry to the fullest. The New Testament is important to them. As long as you're part of the New Testament, you are a Freemason, almost so to speak.
See, but the brethren who were a part of the syndicate. I already knew a backlash was coming because everyone in that religious sphere is a part of the syndicate. So I knew it was going to happen. You're so predictable. Most I said, sit back and watch how they come for you. I said, I'm ready. Most I gave me the encouragement to pursue. And people should just be genuine and say, yo, they're part of the thing and talk out like that pastor guy did, even though, you know, it is what it is. But people are being disingenuous and acting like it doesn't exist. And yet there were former pastors, or they had dads who were pastors and bishops and that. No, stop trying to keep people in ignorance, bro.
Greetings. In celebration of Black History Month, I'd like to discuss the story of Prince Hall, our founder, who was a great American and the first Grand Master associated with our first Grand Lodge and its expansion. Approximately 1 year and 4 months prior to the writing of the Declaration of Independence, Prince Hall engraved his image in the annals of American history. Prince Hall, a free black man, became a property owner, voter, and community activist.
And how this happened, family? One of the people that he, obviously was of this, little group, grew up with this. And he thought, you know what, I want to give this to him to empower him. But the way this brother was looking at it, like, whoa, hold on a second. Biblically speaking, that shouldn't happen. And then the shit happened. And then he found out that Negros had slaves since 1492. Yeah, that's what happens when you start looking into or lurking into facts.
Cambridge, Boston colony. His story has not been told nor recorded in the history textbooks, despite the fact that he was a civil rights activist who made a significant contribution to the growth and development of our nation. Although little is known about the circumstances of his birth, his condition of servitude, or his occupation, we do know, however, that because of Prince Hall's dedication to improve the quality of life for his people, accompanied by a desire to become a Freemason, he and 14 other men of color received the 3 degrees of Freemasonry by being initiated into the fraternity on March 6, 1775, in an Irish military lodge attached to the 38th foot of the British Army. This event made Prince Hall the first of his race in North America to enter into the oldest and most prestigious fraternity in history. The historical record reflects that the others were Cyrus Johnson, Buston Slinger, Prince Reese, Prince Radine, Peter Freeman, Peter Best, John Canton, Duff Reform, Thomas Sanderson, Cato Spain, Boston Smith, Fortune Howard, and Richard Titley. Around April 14th of 1776, the...
Just want to pause for a moment. I want to meditate on this verse right here. I just want to kind of think about something real quick. I don't know, it just came to my mind. It says here on Deuteronomy 28:43,
The stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Last time I checked, us indigenous brothers and sisters didn't have this privilege of being part of this masonry. Do you understand now how scriptures matter? Again, the stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Now, you guys used to say the white man did that shit to you. Here we're seeing that that's not the case. It looks more like our situation, don't it? You guys aren't from here, but yet you got privileges. You're Masons, Freemasons for that matter. Free, by the way, right? Let's continue.
This were Cyrus Johnson, Houston Slinger, Prince Reese, Prince Radine, Peter Freeman, Peter Best, John Canton, Deaf Reform, Thomas Sanderson, Cato Spain, Boston Smith, Fortune Howard, and Richard Titley. Around April 14th of 1776, the military regiment to which Hall's Lodge was attached received orders to relocate to the New York colony, leaving Prince Hall and his Negro brethren, all civilians, without a lodge. Prior to leaving, however, the Worshipful Master, Sergeant John Batt, issued to Prince Hall and his brethren a permit to walk on St. John's Day and to bury their dead with full Masonic rites. As a result, African Lodge No. 1, Ancient Accepted York Masons, was formed, with Prince Hull elected as Worshipful Master. As the Batt permit left Prince Hull with Masonic limitations, he petitioned the Grand Lodge of England for a full charter in 1784. On March 2nd of 1784, Prince Hull wrote a letter to William Moody, Worshipful Master of Brotherly Love, No. 55 in London, England.
So the Israelites in Deuteronomy 28 talked about the whole concept of, being subdued. Deuteronomy 28:48. Therefore, thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. It doesn't look like that's what you guys went through. No, you didn't lack hunger. You didn't have hunger. You didn't deal with thirst. You weren't naked. You weren't really necessarily like in poor situation. Like, you guys were Masons. You guys were part of politics. People of political power. You didn't have a yoke on your neck. You're not destroyed. You want to know why? Because we can see it here. Let's just go back just a little bit.
Yes, John Canton, Deaf Reform, Thomas Sanderson, Cato Spain, Boston Smith, Fortune Howard, and Richard Titley. Around April 14th of 1776, the military regiment to which Hall's Lodge was attached received orders to relocate to the New York colony, leaving Prince Hall and his Negro brethren, all civilians, without a lodge. Prior to leaving, however, the Worshipful Master, Sergeant John Batt, issued to Prince Hall and his brethren a permit to walk on St. John's Day and to bury their dead with full Masonic rites. As a result, African Lodge No. 1, Ancient Accepted York Masons, was formed, with Prince Hull elected as Worshipful Master. As the Batt permit left Prince Hull with Masonic limitations, he petitioned the Grand Lodge of England for a full charter in 1784. On March 2nd of 1784, Prince Hull wrote a letter to William Moody, Worshipful Master of Brotherly Love, No. 55 in London, England, stating that African Lodge had been in operation for 8 years, but it only had a permit to walk on St. John's Day and to bury their dead in manner and form. He felt it best to send to the fountains of whence he received the light for a warrant. This warrant or charter was prepared that same year, but was held up when the fee sent by Prince Hull never arrived. After several
Yeah, that was the end of that one. All right, let's see. We got 130. Okay. All right, so I think that one. I have one more to show you. Oh yeah, this right here. This is so fucking pathetic. See, again, I just wanted to run these videos through. I couldn't sleep. Think I'm getting a little bit sleepy now, so I'm gonna call it a night. Thank y'all for staying up with me. But this is what I'm talking about. You see, for a long time, propaganda made us think that stinky, dirty bastards from Europe were superior for some fucking awkward way. Let's pay attention and we call it a night. This is a joke, by the way. Let's go.
Working in the United States? Why?
Are you legal?
Yes.
Do we need ICE here to check this out?
You call ICE?
Should I call federal?
It looks like we got a MAGA that doesn't know how to mind his own business. We're gonna play the rest of this video for you. Let's watch it together. And then when it's over, we're gonna talk about it. Watch.
Working in the United States? Why?
Are you legal?
Yes.
Do we need ICE here to check this out?
You call ICE?
Should I call federal?
I am working here.
Well, I don't think you're legal. If you don't speak English, you're not legal.
I don't know English. I am working.
Where are you from?
Venezuela.
Venezuela?
Venezuela.
Oh, yeah, we've been hearing about that.
What?
Yeah, we need ICE.
Okay, you call ICE. I don't care. No sé qué es lo que. Me está llamando, marico, me busco y todo.
What happened?
You want to talk about luck? Hi there, Gomer. The FYP gods brought you to the stink. And now I feel obligated to show the world you and how you can't mind your own business. The kid's working, Gomer. The kid is working. My question is, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's working. What are you doing? With your shirt off, just wandering into homes? How much, you know what? I've said this before. I've said, the stink is really not a betting man. But I'm willing to bet Mr. Gomer, Mr. MAGA, is living off the system, off our tax dollars. I'd put my life on it. I found it interesting when the kid says I'm from Venezuela. And what did Gomer say? Oh yeah, we've heard about you. From where, Gomer? Fox News? Guys, this is a prime example of Fox News brain rot. This is what it does to people. I want everybody to understand that these
Audi belly buttons
vote. This is a message to all you migrants that are over here working in this country and working hard. Not all of us are like this. Not all of us. Just a few that are in this thing that we call MAGA, which is a cult. The Stink and Stink Nation has your back, migrants. All you hard-working migrants. Never forget that. If you come across something like this, just ignore it and call the police. Guys, tell me what you think about this in the comments. And if you haven't followed me yet, please do. Have a day!
I want $100,000 to come in. I want $100,000. There are people, there are 10 people that could give $10,000. There's 100 people that could give $1,000. Get a check, make it payable to Paula White Ministry. There are people that are watching right now. If you say, I don't have it, give $100. Bring up a sacrificial seed. This is for me. This is about kids that will die without you being obedient. This is about kids
us to walk.
Want us to walk?
You feel that? Tell me how you feel now. But the pain is leaving out right now. Whatever you do right now, don't you stop tithing. Don't you stop sowing offering. Increase your seed and store up for the future.
The fire of heaven, the fire of heaven, the fire of heaven, the fire of heaven, the fire of heaven. Man, take it, take it, take it, take it, take it away. Take the fresh breath of the Spirit.
And you need to make a vow of faith of $1,000. Oh God, couldn't you say $20,000? You can't see what's not seen until you let go of what is seen. And that's I'm talking about your money. You get that tithe in that church, you get that offering in that church, and then you go home and you do what we're supposed to do.
You need to send in $3,500. You need to send in $35,000. You need to send in that $100,000 check. If you do not write that P.O. box and you do not call that toll-free number, you will never see sustainment in your life, and your dream will die, your call will die.
You'll walk out of it. In the name of Jesus. Thank you.
Oh, the more we learn about this covenant of blood, somebody's son is going to be set free from alcohol because of your $1,000 seed.
That's why I say $1,000.
$1,000. $1,144.
Show me the money. You are not going to have diarrhea any longer. Go into it right now. I mean right now. Show me the money. Do it. You need to do it right now. Show me the money. It's all about the money. It's all about the money.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, have a good night, family.
Vives muriéndote la envidia como los niños en Siria de las bombas que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it mood, that's so real. Love us, man, I never fear, never, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa y nuestra prosa siempre para allá no. Tú podrás por mí traicionar a tu familia, matar tu brazo sangre si vos sabías, pero yo no. Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rasta Giant familia. Familia, familia, Magna White son familia, ya no maniga.
خواتي شو من حالي وشو من حالي هني بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي هو اللي جاي يديني اليوم وباغي سالي ربي يغفر لي ولا دراري خواتي شو من حالي وشو من حالي هني بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي هو اللي جاي يديني اليوم وباغي سالي ربي يغفر لي ولا دراري tuve un sueño donde no había amor se perdía el color de una flor se marchaba lentamente con el sol en el horizonte pude hacer algo para calmar mi dolor y es por eso que le pongo flow viviendo alto siempre y es que todo por la familia. Purrucubimba, y es por eso vengo a bendecir. Purrucubimba, y es que todo por la familia. Purrucubimba, y es por eso vengo a bendecir.
Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rastafarian familia. Familia, familia, Magna Boy son familia, ya no maniga.
Magna super slalom, subiendo a nuevo escalón. Metallic in the salon, esquivo like si de Stallone. Esos tics van del palo, pero bitch no rascan balón. Aunque me enrollo nada cáñamo, nunca me paro. Aunque van tras de mí, no se pueden medir. Buscan el elixir, está metalizado. Y es que yo soy así, no van a descubrir sexy flow y skill con este descaro. Si familia necesita de ti, fíjalo. Por Connection Antarctic Field, dígalo. A mí nadie area du Paris, día yo. Los magnates han llegado, están aquí, píalo. Para soportar el dolor como no imaginas, es la vida en ámbar. Aunque creas que no puedes tú solo con la movida, yo llevaré tus bambas. Familia, familia, fighting the hate and the media. Familia, familia, it's original, man. Familia, familia, fighting the hate and the media. Familia, familia, yo soy un rocket, ellos a brillar. Con los míos siempre se lo baila. Menea, melena, remueve la vaina. Aunque agarre fuerte el fruto para que no se caiga. Son los magna de boss final. Con los míos siempre se lo baila. Menea, melena, remueve la vaina. Aunque agarre fuerte el fruto para que no se caiga. Son los magna de boss final. De paramillas sin mirar y sin mirar, sin asimilar que es la puta herida de tu vida hurgo. Los manates la chatarrilla hacen pa' pillar, piltrafillas, tres donos nos pilla y se va con la furgo. Te hará falta una pedicura y una cura, si se apura, quizás llega la locura de mi turbo. Dale vueltas a la partícula, deja ya la mandíbula quieta que sola llega a Luxemburgo.
Niño, prepara la compota que la pera pasa.
Pero vinimos a mejorarla.
Pa' hablar por mi familia y tengo autoridad.
Saben que no puedo cagarla.
Si pone ritmo y los manes les botan cuatro patas. ¿Quieres esa vaina? Va a probarla. Todo aquel en el party tan desacata. What the fuck, what the girl, what an alma. Vivimos huyendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it mood, so real. Lo es man, never fear, never, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa. Y nuestra prosa siempre para allá fabono. Tú podrás por mí traicionar a tu familia, matar tu bro, sangre, si vos sabías, pero yo no. Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rastafarian familia. Familia, familia, Magna Boy son familia, ya no maniga. Bombo cry, sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it, cross the line on them. Warrior, vengo con los míos, Magna get your life, fire them, fire them. Bombo cry, sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it, cross the line on them. Warrior, vengo con los manas y saqué tu life, fire them, fire them. A girl stop, shut up on the microphone ballad, and let's smoke the marijuana, psycho Buddha bombo clap. Bang bang in the street, fire burn it, fill away. Rasta man, I got Illuminati play the kill. Stop, shut up on the microphone ballad, and let's smoke the marijuana, psycho Buddha bombo clap. Bang bang in the street, fire burn it, fill away. Key Cray is a king, Magna sting. Nobody, 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 no kill them. In a crazy style. Challenge, 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 no fire them. It's a Rasta ganja. Body, nobody, 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 no kill them. It's a crispy style. Tally, 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 la tally, the fire cream. It's a Rasta ganja. Familia, familia, Rasta chai is familia, familia, familia. Key Cray is familia. Familia, familia, pure nego is familia. Familia, familia, Zico, Key Magneto, familia. Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínima. Familia, familia, compactar más cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rasta Zion familia. Familia, familia, Magna Boy que te aplasta, nego.
¿Sí? ¿Te atreverías?
original, Kimma. Ella lo baila. ¿Quieres de mí? Origini, todo para ti. Hey baby, original y originini. Yo no tengo un cromo de panini. Si viene el Kimma lo reventó con el fucking altavoz. Y bien burreniga, estoy con el chico para soltarlo bien tranquilito. Es el Kimana, el Kimaneto, porque tiene el ritmo y esqueleto. No vi, ella no vio nada. Cuando suelto ritmo parece la bocanada. No soy un dragón, pero suelto llamaradas. No soy un cabrón, pero sueno que te cagas. Original y parecen bandadas de cuervos volando que viene a matar. Si quieres algo del Magneto, siempre ves buscando un ritmo. Es original, siempre suena fresco. Lo mejor me lo merezco. No tenemos parentesco, golazos de parece popescu. Ey, original, el Magneto ha llegado pa' soltar los ritmos sentados. Si quieres algo bueno, pues yo vengo de un pasado. Desde lejos, hace tiempo, no soy viejo. Estoy atento, estoy contento. El entrecejo, no lo ves, escondí hace tiempo. Original representa hace radio, el Netflix de Europa. Pa' venir a reventar todos los escenarios y llevarme la copa.
Un aplauso, hermano. De Easy, haceme algo ya para culminar.
Hostia puta, tío, qué bueno.
¿Te dejo ahí mismo ese? ¿O te pongo otro?
Póngelo del principio, va.
¿Del principio, este mismo? ¿O te pongo otro?
Esto está bien.
¿Este está bien? Vale. Desde el principio, entonces. Ahí va. Atención.
Estamos en Nazi Radio International Real. Hey, hemos vuelto a la casa del Real Netflix de Europa. Bombo, claro, dice. Don't stop, everybody, don't stop. Llegó el general para prender el club. Hey, sing it, boy, then yabadabadu. Con mi crew, solo tú, Damilu. Hey, sing it, badu. Don't stop, everybody, don't stop. Llegó el general para prender el club. Sing it, boy, then yabadabadu. Con mi crew, solo tú, Damilu. Everything come through. Ooh, girl, think you better. I think you clever. Hey, stay, my fucking old nigga. Hey, girl, think you better. I think alone, my brother. Everybody come on, nego, hace radio, está fresco. Dice, mueve el cadera, mueve tremendo. Suena perfecto, filo becar. Suena perfecto, viene el del ritmo del ghetto. Band the fuck internacional. Hey, nego, the fama, no really nobody. Si mueve el estilo, suena fenomenal. Suena bien guapo que viene los ritmos. En radio siempre suena fenomenal. Mueve cadera, mueve tremenda. Ese Kimaneto, el rey de la fiesta. Suena guapo, te lo digo, Zacarías. Así que dale, on the freak.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.